Szép jó napot kívánok! Az előbb már kívántam jó estét, ezt ismét kihagynám. Ez a következő 20 perc, ez ismét angolul lesz, úgyhogy I switch to English then. This is the second breaking news in this anniversary room on our day. And this is about cybersecurity news, and we will going to discuss the various aspects of those threats and cyber security problems. First of all, I would like to ask all of my colleagues, partners, to share us a quick introduction from left to right, from here, left to right. So, Szilárd, please.
Okay. Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Szilárd Csordás. I'm coming from Cisco. I work for Cisco more than 12 years. I do have some networking background, but in the last, let's say, 8-10 years, I do security. So whatever Cisco security related as a consultant, usually it comes to me on my desk, and we handle with my colleague that. So, in a nutshell.
Hello, my name is Bruno. I'm from France. I'm responsible for the HP Hewlett-Packard Enterprise cybersecurity solutions for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And we have currently machine learning-based technology. I will talk about also later in a talk.
Thanks. Zoli?
I'm Zoltán Nagy. I'm the Group Security Director of the Magyar Telekom Group. And with this role, I also responsible from corporate security to cyber security, all the departments of the security in the Magyar Telekom Group, and mostly I have cyber security background also. So that's why I am.
Thanks. Gergely.
Hi all, my name is Gergely Szentgáli, and I'm working for an international American company as an information security manager. And today I'm representing the voluntary cyber defense collaboration, which is called KIBEV.
Thanks, and I'm Péter, and I'm representing Fortix Consulting, as well as KIBEV, as well as Észak Budapest chapter. Our first news for today is the famous NASA hack, which was, as they said, an advanced persistent threat. So I first read a few sentences from the news. A report published this week by the NASA Office of Inspector General reveals that in April 2018, hackers breached the agency's network and stole approximately 500 megabytes of data related to the Mars mission. The point of entry was a Raspberry Pi device that was connected to the IT network of the NASA GP laboratory without authorization or going through the proper security review. What do you guys think about the whole case, and how do you think this could have been avoided? I would start with Szilárd from Cisco, since in this news a lot of Cisco engineers and professionals has also stated some kind of advice.
Yeah, advice. Sure. So in my opinion, this is kind of a supply chain attack. So when it's not targeting directly the customer or the target itself or specifically, but through another hub. And as far as I know, in the details, so not the NASA was hacked directly, but this another supplier of the NASA. And this is a pretty nasty, and we have seen such a similar stories as well in the past. If you can remember, you know, these NotPetya stuff is very similar how they do, and maybe this is the toughest part to protect against. So insider threat and a supply chain attack is getting more harder and harder. Yeah, well, in general, you should not trust to anyone, right? So you have to prove yourself, whether it's a user, where is a computer, where is a network connection. You have to prove who you are. If I know that who you are, then do an authorization. I will tell you what you're allowed to, how to connect to the VPN, wired, wireless, or maybe VPN related. So it's still on a high level, but yeah, you have to really verify everything and have visibility, because that's basically the key. If you can't see it, you can't protect it, right? So it's simple, it's easy to say, hard to do. So that's enough.
Yeah, sure. Exactly the point is you need to get visibility, first of all, what's on your network. So that's typical IoT case. You know, it's people usually underestimate the number of objects and devices going into the network. And you have to deploy some specific tools, or even more recently, for instance, in HP, we introduced machine learning-based technology to automatically classify objects according to their behavior using deep packet inspection algorithms. And then you can classify, you get full visibility of the object, you can classify the object, profile them, then grant the right policy. And the next step will be then to detect, to analyze the actual behavior forward. And in that case, we will find that there is a change in behavior with this device. Not only we will see it, but we will see a change in behavior, and then you can take action.
Thank you. Zoltán.
So, the other perspective is a network monitoring case, because if something new connected to your network should be authorized, as you said before, and how can it connect it to your network or your databases where the data was stored? So if the network monitoring systems functionally absolutely successfully, that this can be avoided. And the other case is that what was the aim of this colleague who implemented this Raspberry to the network? Why he avoided the security processes, and mostly because they are lazy, they want a shorter way, and I think that the security also should support the new things, the new way of thinking, the new mindset. And for example, these guys who would like to short their processes and have another way of connection to the network should be accepted, or at least talk about the alternative ways, and not to implement an unauthorized and unsecure device to the network. So,
thanks, Gergely.
My first impression was on the topic that we have heard today and then yesterday as well, that the cyberspace is getting militarized, and cyberspace now is a military operation domain. And we can see that this way of thinking also reached the space as well. Maybe you remember that the United States freshly set up a cyber operation, a space operation center. And now they are considering the outer space as a military domain as well. So I guess that's one of the reasons that such kind of nice project can be in the target as well. So we can expect that in the future the space operation will be under attack, I think.
Thanks. I would actually like to spend another round through this NASA story. And since you all guys will have a presentation afterwards, after this breaking news, my question would be, how could you connect to the topic of your presentation, which relates to, for example, this NASA hack, or network security, or the cyberspace? And let's start with you, Gergely.
Our topic will be about the ethical hacking with Zoltán. And I would say to connect these two topics would be that Raspberry Pi is not a common device to use in a corporate environment. And for sure, as an information security manager, I would be curious that what kind of vulnerabilities have this kind of devices. So I would be sure that these devices went through penetration testing and other vulnerability testing.
Yeah, we will have this together, but I also will have a anti-fraud presentations also. And what I would like to say, because everybody or the attackers have a clear goal. What could be in this case the clear goal? What was the aim of the attacker? And for example, from the third world, or a lot of newborn countries are looking for these IT background or space research background also. So who could be this attacker, and why are they scanning the NASA's infrastructure? It's really a crucial question, and I think that as an ethical hacker also, this is the main thing that I would like to inspect. So, yeah.
Thanks. Bruno?
Yeah, so my topic will be generic, will be what are the 5 keys to successfully basically use machine learning in your cyber defense and security. But in the perspective of these problems, I wanted to react, as you said, you need to authorize, but how you do that, it's you don't necessarily can deploy agents on the IoTs, so then what you have left is the MAC address. But obviously, if you Raspberry, you can spoof a MAC address. So traditional, basically, tools we have today in our portfolio, including us, HP, or Cisco, or others, are showing fault. I mean, here that's why the next step will be to use machine learning and analyze the actual behavior of a device to detect that something wrong is happening. So that's my topic. It's about machine learning and how you can use it and integrate it into your cyber security.
Thank you. Szilárd?
Yeah, I do have so. Yeah, well, so my topic is going to be threat hunting, how to go after the malicious and what is different than the normal. And coming back to the topic, in a previous slide said, yeah, you should authenticate and authorize every device, whatever connects to the network, regardless of the platform. That's true, but it doesn't mean when it gets connected that you should forget about that, right? So you should continuously monitor what traffic is going to or coming from that particular device. So in ideal world, whatever network we have, partner, supply chain related, internal, data center, cloud, whatever, you should have some kind of baseline. There are some tools and services for that. So build a baseline, know what is happening inside your network. And now this particular case, if I'm not mistaken, like for a few months, for 10 months, that this Raspberry was connected to the network. So at some certain point, that should show up in my network if I'm monitoring the stuff, that there is a new IP. I don't know what traffic going there or coming from, but it's new, right? I haven't seen that before if I have my proper baselining. So the system should, some security tools should make an alarm that this is something new. You should do investigation. And this is where my topic on my presentation I will talk about, and 1 or 2 use cases I will show you that how that might be useful in such a situation, that some system makes an alarm regardless of the vendor, whatever service or product, but then someone has to do an investigation. You can automate a certain thing just to remove the noise, the easy stuff, and then just to free up the security analyst to really go into the deep and figure out the thing which might be malicious. So that's basically.
Thank you. I have another news, which I'm going to read, which is a fileless attack, actually, since we still have about 10 minutes, which is a unique attack called DNS Messenger, uses DNS queries to carry out malicious PowerShell commands on compromised computers. This works like using a Word document, and for people who are like to enable content, then the Trojan is, the remote access Trojan is being dropped onto the targeted systems. So I'd like to ask you to comment on that, but I have an option B for if you don't really know this attack. Since cyber security problems are arising day by day, and if you're not commenting this DNS messenger, then I would like to ask you to comment on how the heck we are not good enough to somehow prevent those attacks day by day, period. Szilárd.
Okay. Actually, I have an idea for both. But let's take the DNS, because I do like DNS. So everyone uses DNS, right? Without DNS, there is no Facebook. It wouldn't work. So everyone uses that, but not for security. So I said that in many conferences, the DNS logs is basically a gold mine from security perspective. And DNS is not just we are using it, but also the hackers and the bad actors as well. Just to redirect your browser for exfiltration, you know, to move left and right, and obviously exfiltration and to make a C2 channel, command and control channel, because on a firewall, on edge firewall, usually that UDP 54 or TCP, or TCP port is open. So not everyone is controlling that, okay, I know this is my DNS server, but is there any DNS server inside my network what IT is not aware of? Well, because we have seen those stuff. And now this particular case was leveraging that DNS is being used by everyone, but it's not really for security. And there are some nice tools, services, commercial-wise, or even you can go for open source stuff. Just gather your DNS, run your machine learning, whatever, automated way. But do use some security, DNS security-related stuff just to prevent. No. So you can't really prevent everything, but actually you will get a signal that something is not okay. And in a conference, I attended a couple of sessions, and almost in every session was, okay, the human is still needed, right? Technology and machines, we need that to automate things, to make it faster, to detection, but you still need a human to go after the technically deep and complex thing. So this DNS protection might signal you, but then you should be curious, okay, why that happened? So not to follow the approach, okay, that detect and forget. Okay, we do detect and forget because it's easy. It would better detect and ask the question, why? Why did it just happen?
Thanks. Bruno, what would you say or add to that?
It's not new. This technique is quite well known now. I will go back on machine learning, and I will agree with you. The idea is to augment the intelligence of the cyber analyst. It's not to replace them, but to provide the right signals that something wrong is happening. So typically for such techniques, we're going to use supervised machine learning. Been trained to detect modification of some fields in the DNS queries, change in the size of the fields, things like that. But what is also interesting, because I see your article, is it says it's just the beginning, it's a multi-stage attack. And what is important to realize is if you don't catch the first tape, make sure you catch the next one. So all these attacks at the end are within a kill chain. And so you need to have choice in your tools you're going to use, choice in the use case that you cover, choice in the source of information we're going to use to be able to detect all the steps in the kill chain. So you may miss one, that happens, but make sure your tools and your playbooks and all your things you set up will cover the entire kill chain, and then you may catch the next step, right? So that's how I was thinking about this attack.
Thanks, Bruno. Zoli.
Yeah, about the DNS infrastructure is not the first thing. It's also after the East Coastal attacks, or was also in the media. But if we can't protect our DNS infrastructure because of the normal usage, and for average users, we want to do it more complex, but for example, it's delivered a message or delivered a file. So in this case, the filtering system should be the second line of defense, because if these packages are not delivered, that no escalation could be possible. So if we really want to protect ourselves or our company, and we know about these DNS vulnerabilities, that we should hold the second lines also, because in other ways that we can't use, our infrastructure could be abused also. So this is.
Thank you. Gergely.
I would pick up the second topic. Why we are not so good or that good, and I think sometimes the answer for that is very easy. We don't have the manpower, we don't have the proper resources, we don't have the budget, or we don't even have the management vision about security. And what I've seen so far, that in most cases security in a state of in a reactive state within companies. It's not about being proactive. It's about that, okay, maybe we will getting attacked, and hopefully we can react on, and we can continue our business we have. And to reflect my upcoming discussion with Zoltán, ethical hacking itself can be a useful tool for that, to make it better, because the ethical hacking itself gives you the opportunity to see and think of the attacker's head. So maybe that's one of the best tools to find new doors and vulnerabilities in your system.
Thank you. And what about the new domain called space or cyberspace that you mentioned about the just before the breaking news? Any comments on that, Gergely? And this goes back to the NASA hack, actually. So we have a new domain, but it's not actually a domain. It's called space.
Yes, but it's considered a domain so far. I mean, it's really not a new thing, at least on a state level. So what we can see that the state actors are very active in the cyberspace. That's for sure will happen in the classic space. I mean, the outer space as well. And of course, this domain is also highly depends on IT and IT infrastructure. So that means I'm pretty sure that they will be heavily under attack in the future.
Zoli, would you like to add something from a fraud perspective, for example?
No, but in a different point of view, sorry, just Elon Musk said that we can't be, or we shouldn't be a one-planet species. So if the mankind going out to the space and bringing the infrastructure also to the space, the new domain of this warfare will be coming with us. So could be one of the first steps to how we are moving to the space as a mankind.
Thanks. Bruno, any addition from your side?
I think what I see is sometimes, I mean, in more general fashion, we're talking about Raspberry, which is an IoT, I mean, IT manager may have project vision, wants to do new things, and sometimes security is behind. So I see a lot of customers, I say, I want to go to the cloud, so we go to the cloud, and they don't even look what it means in terms of security, in terms of how they can protect their IP, because the second case is about how you install intellectual properties also. And so there is new space to be in the IT, which is IoTs, cloud, somehow mobility, and sometimes the IT manager forget about security. And so we as security, we have to catch up afterwards, and sometimes it's too late. So.
Our time is up, so actually the only thing I'd like to mention, actually two things. One is a big thanks for my partners, and please stay in this anniversary room, since these guys will have a great presentation starting with Szilárd just now. So Szilárd, the stage is yours.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.